What's up, y'all? It's your girl Venus Archangel here with another love reading for y'all. If you're unsure of your sun, moon, and rising signs, want to know what cards I'm using in the video, or interested in booking a personal reading with me, head on over to the description box below. And with all that said, let's go ahead and get started. What's going on, Cancers? It's your girl Venus Archangel here. Let's go ahead and get started with your reading. Alright, so the underlying energy here is the Queen of Cups. Some of y'all are in your field. Some of y'all possibly loved up. Some of y'all, okay, could be in a very romantic situation. And I feel like this is great because obviously what's underneath this here is the Fool. So that's talking about a new beginning. Y'all are feeling in your feels and emotional and a very good place possibly in your emotions. Okay? You guys are having to use your intuition big time though. Despite the whole excited part about this reading, you guys are having to use your intuition. So be sure to, always rely on your intuition. Listen to your, to your guides. Listen to your spirit. Because the Fool needs or uses his intuition to guide him through this, guide him through his journey. Okay? He's going off on a limb. He's taking a risk. And it's something that's exciting and new. And obviously, the Fool is all the new beginnings combined. Ace of Wands, Queen, Ace of Wands, Ace of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, all those kings, all those aces combined, they're all in the Fool. So there's a lot of those aspects that you're going to want to have that's in that backpack of yours, to kind of be able to, take on the journey ahead, okay? So, but ultimately, have the clarity of your situation, and also to have to trust in yourself and your intuition as you get there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get up into this. Okay, the situation at hand, the heart of your reading, is the Six of Swords. Okay, so this right here is talking about moving or traveling or transitioning. Okay, this is about leaving behind a particular part of your life, moving, of course, like I said before, and moving to a different place where you can start something new or start something fresh, kind of a rebuilding factor, right? And the reason why I definitely think this is moving, some of y'all are definitely moving to another spot or moving somewhere that has a bit more commitment, but ultimately moving house, y'all have the Four of Wands. So this is something that you're moving towards, to have that, a stronger, to celebrate this commitment that or the stability that you've gained, okay? This is a really good step. You came a long way. You've gotten to a spot now where you are, you are good, right? You made it. Of course, the journey doesn't just stop there. There's a new beginning after, not necessarily a new beginning, but a new way of approaching your life from a platform that you can actually build off of, okay? So the Four of Wands is all about celebrating where you are now, celebrating your achievements, recognizing where you are now after, through the efforts that you put in. So this is great. You guys are possibly moving closer to someone that you are near and dear with, or this is you guys moving towards making a transition within yourselves, in your intuition, or in a new journey with your, this is something personal for you guys even, that you guys are trying to really kind of reconnect with spirit, or trying to be the Queen of Cups, someone that is, that initiates their emotions, or someone that can, tap into their emotions and control their emotions in a way that benefits them and helps them out later on in the future. So there's a lot of good stuff that's coming up here. I feel like your move, though, is what's going to get you to where you need to be. Or, for some of you guys could be trying to move, or trying to move somewhere else, or trying to get to a spot where you feel like you can actually start this new beginning. But you have to be able to, I think there's a spot where you're plateaued, and where how your passions are right now, where you've been, where you're committed to. And honestly, it's still not a bad thing. Where you guys are is good, but I feel like where you guys are going to go from there is what's going to start the transition. How you guys are going to move on from where you guys are now, okay? And that is what is going on. That's why this is a new beginning. You guys having to figure out where to start after you guys made the effort to kind of be, to know where you are, to know what you are. You know what I'm saying? It's always something like that, okay? Now, in the past, y'all had the Seven of Cups. So y'all were dealing with some stuff that wasn't necessarily the clearest cut. Like, I feel like you guys possibly had a lot of options, a lot of decisions to make. You guys were definitely dealing with fantasy more so than anything. The Queen of Cups is someone that is, I don't want to say delusional, but she has the capacity to kind of fall into the, into the fantasies because the emotions are there, and she's very, connected to her emotions. But I feel like you guys obviously were able to see through what isn't, pursuable, and what was, and what really worked best for you. Okay, yeah, you guys had a lot of thinking and stuff to do because these options were not the clearest, and I feel like you guys could have been caught up in the fantasy itself, but more so you guys also tapped into your emotions and were able to get out of that. You guys were able to figure out, okay, what's real, what's not, what's better to focus on, and what isn't. And I think that's what kind of happened. You guys kind of use your intuition to kind of get to a spot where you can build from. Now, you guys are having, you guys have strength here in your present. Now, this is interesting. I feel like with strength, because strength is all about, again, endurance, moving or controlling your emotions and taking, pretty much being that big teddy bear that yourself needs to get through a difficult situation. Six of Swords isn't always a typically nice card to have. It has a very mournful aspect to it. So what you guys probably had to move away from, or what you guys are having a hard time moving away from, is something that's in the past that kind of made you feel good, but really didn't provide you with anything concrete or real. Okay, so right now you guys are could be celebrating a spot where you guys are like, hey, I figured out what's stable and would make me, feel all right. And you guys could be lusting. You guys could be having sex right now. But I don't know per se. I feel like it's more so you guys are trying to get through a spot in your lives that maybe that wasn't difficult, but really just trying to savor the moment. Because that's what I can kind of see strength as being. Savoring the moment. Understanding the situation at hand and being gentle with yourself, your environment, etc. Let's pull for that. Yeah, I feel like what you guys are having to go through is maybe you guys had a difficult time deciding something, and what you're trying to figure out right now, or what you're trying to get over, or what you're trying to do is, I don't know, if someone offered you something presently and you're having to, like, I guess, see through that, or maybe work through it, because it wasn't something that he or she could keep that promise of. Okay, so somebody could have made you a promise, someone could have said something to you, or offered you something that they couldn't, and you're trying to kind of get through that. All right, maybe this movement here, this transition is towards something that's more stable, or you're trying to get to that spot, because what you're dealing with right now is someone that isn't very straight up, or someone that promises a lot more than they can keep. Okay. Yeah, the I'll have the Five of Cups. I don't like that. Okay. Five of Cups is looking back at the past, or like seeing what was, what isn't there, and seeing, really like, it's a disappointing card to have, or a disappointing card in general, because you worked so hard to get the Three of Cups, that emotional support, and you're having to kind of work with what you have. So this person probably, was very romantic and had a lot of intention, but they always fell through. There's a lot of missed opportunities, and you're having to kind of rebuild that with this person. Maybe you are able to, maybe the fact that the Four of Wands is here is that you have a understanding of the situation now that kind of made the situation more easy to kind of begin off of. You're trying to figure out, obviously, where to go next. Okay? And it's right now, it's just more of like figuring out exactly what was worth, what is the next step? How are you going to move past what is no longer there? So Man, this gets crazy. Okay, so I feel like for some of you guys, maybe this isn't the greatest time for y'all. Maybe this isn't sex. I think this could be just really emotion based. Like you guys are having to like figure out what is true for you and what isn't, and what's, you know, best for you emotionally, and not exactly. I guess you're probably trying to figure out exactly like if everything this person is saying is exactly honest and something that they can possibly keep, because obviously there's a lot of promises that can't be kept or weren't. But you still have a relationship here, so that talks about something that is trying to survive. Like you're trying to survive here. You're in your feels. You're probably maybe not happy, but you feel like this is something that you can heal from, because you guys are Cancers. You guys are healers as well. Okay, so you guys are possibly trying to heal right now with a situation that kind of just wasn't the best. So that's probably why you have the Four of Wands here, and it's kind of blocking your movement. You're not really sure where to go because the situation at hand, you just kind of really established something serious with this relationship. Now, one thing I don't like is that you guys have the Devil card in your future. No, I don't like it. Because Devil is something. It's just pretty much the integrity card. It's talking about what lines do you have in place for yourself? What boundaries do you have in place for yourself? And exactly what are you going to do in regards to a situation that you ultimately have control over? The Devil card a lot of people say it's toxic relationships. It's only toxic if you let it be toxic. That's the trick. If you guys feel like something ain't right, if you guys know something isn't, like the reason why I said sex was because like you had the Devil there and the Strength and Four of Wands. I'm like, y'all are getting laid. The Queen of Cups, like, oh my God, and it's fulfilling too. But despite all that, no, I don't think this is necessarily the greatest energy. I mean, you guys could be having sex right now, but I honestly feel like there's a connection between you two, yes, but one that you have to figure out whether or not it pushes your boundaries or not. Yeah, there's some support that's needed here. Gosh, what the heck? There's some support that's needed here, okay? And I feel like, ooh, it's not even, let me see here. Because right now, like I said, in the present, the clarifier for the Strength card was not only the Knight of Cups, it was also the Five of Cups. You guys were having to, you guys lost that emotional stability or support that you guys had for yourselves. Okay? I think you guys feel like you lost that. You got the moons, even when I'm trying to clarify this. So I feel like, yeah, there's some confusion possibly here with this, support that you guys have. And you're not really sure exactly in the future exactly, like, if this relationship is necessarily for you, or there's possibly some codependent habits, or some habits that are old that are not going to serve you really. So I would be mindful of the future. If you're noticing patterns from old relationships, those are the signals and the ways for you to evade those, okay? I mean, things could be pretty good right now. There's nothing possibly wrong. But if you're seeing patterns, or you are going back to patterns that never really helped you in the first place, never got you to a place that you need to be, supportive for you, I don't think this is a good place to go. I don't think that's the right avenue, okay? Because the crowning energy is the Six of Cups. So this is talking about remembering the past to help you through this time, to get you through to the next phase, or trying to, help you out in your relationship at all with your, as the advice. Looking back and seeing the good times, but also remembering the times that were, that were happy because of what you've done and what you had to do for it. I don't think you should just completely allow yourself to go on with the wind with this, because as you see here in the past, that really never really worked out. It was very kind of static, and you had a lot of decisions you had to make, and it wasn't very clear for you, okay? in the present, I feel like you're having to go through a time where you're trying to make a decision, or not necessarily trying to make a decision. You're trying to like shift your focus from what isn't there. This romantic person, maybe you don't have someone that's very romantic right now, or you are dealing with someone that's very romantic, but someone that's a little bit too much in their emotions, and you're kind of falling into that rhythm of that emotional awakeness or that emotional involvement, and you're just, or maybe there's just something that you're not really seeing progression of, but you're trying to get through it, you're trying to push through it. But the future, though, is basically just trying to say, make sure that your control is there, like your integrity is there, that you have your boundaries there. Your support needs to be there, and I don't think that going with the wind, I mean, following your intuition is important, and I think that, like I said in the beginning, you have to do that too. I don't think you should just be blinded by it, but I think that whatever doesn't feel right, that's a signal, and that's a big time signal. Because if this connection means something to you, if this connection is something that can lead to something bigger, then great. But you don't want it to be the devil, because it's just like the lovers, the same thing. It's a choice, right? If it's the same thing as the lovers, then it's a choice. But it's a choice that makes it seem like you have no options. You have to trust in yourself that you have the ability to do what you need to do. Okay? So, in your romance angels, you have very soon. So this says, clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. So, I think what you guys are having to deal with is the past that really wasn't really clear. You guys were having to discuss, like, figure out things, or like trying to make out some sort of offer out of things that just kind of never really was concrete. You had a lot of stuff you had to work through. So you were always kind of sitting there going, Nothing was really concrete. And it kind of had you on an emotional plateau where you just kind of didn't feel amped up. You didn't feel, like you had any sort of, motivation to do much of anything. All of the cups look the same to you. Like, everything kind of seemed the same. And you're just like, fine. Well, I don't know. I don't really care about this. And I feel that's what happened in the past. You're just trying to figure out what you wanted, and you couldn't figure it out. Because seven of cups, you don't figure out what you want until the 9 of cups. So, you know something that ain't right. You know what you don't want by the 8 of cups. But 7, still, you don't know what's up. You don't know what you want. And the four of Pentacles are trying to figure out exactly what to do with something that is offered to them, and they're not necessarily sure what they want either. So, which makes the 5 of Cups a lot more devastating, because they already went through that process of sitting down and thinking about what they wanted, So I think right now, in the past, what you have to look at is really focus and think about what you want. Remember what you want, because right here in the present, you guys have gotten to a place where you probably have even transitioned, and probably not even in a relationship, honestly. If it is, then awesome. You guys could have had to figure out something that you possibly, figure out something that you wanted, and you lost something that was very important to you. And you just feel like, I don't know. I feel like, this is a good progression until, the future. Because where it goes is the 4, 5, and then 3, then 6. So you just kind of jumped those. So that talks about progression, but from the past to the present, but then you regress and then you progress again. So there's a lot of, obviously, looking back in the past, you having to jerk pretty much. So if you can really kind of look back and see what you were decided before to really make the decision that you need for yourself, now you bring it in faster. You'll be able to manifest it. You guys possibly, you guys don't want a relationship where you're back to not really, having that emotional support that you guys want. You don't want to go back to those bad behaviors where you can't really feel the happiness or feel vulnerable and comfortable where you are, in your relationship. Okay, so look back, meditate, guys, as well. Okay, you guys have breathe here as your wisdom of the oracle. I think you guys need to definitely take a second and meditate on this. Really figure out exactly what you're looking for. Figure out what is acceptable for you, because the devil card, like I said, is integrity. What passes and what doesn't pass. If something doesn't work with this relationship, then you have to figure out exactly what you want with it. And if you've moved on to a point in your relationship where you feel okay, but there's some stuff that still needs to be worked on, obviously, because, I mean, you have the Two of Cups here, the Knight of Cups. Somebody's here, possibly younger than you, that doesn't really know how they feel about anything, really. But they just know that they love you, which is okay. You still have to figure out stuff for yourself. You still have to get yourself through a difficult situation where there's just kind of empty promises and lost hope, right? So, right now, I feel like there's some decisions that have to be made. There's some things, there's a situation where you have to get through, because you're changing right now. This relationship is changing you, and what you want is changing. You're not even sure if this relationship is something that you want anymore. So this new beginning's coming in because you are a different person now. You've reached a different element of yourself, and I think that's why, you know, the Six of Swords is crossing the Four of Wands here. You're transitioning and you're changing what your perspective is, what you feel, and how you're going to get there. But you don't want to regress back to the old habits. I think that's why the 3 is there instead of progressing like the rest of the cards have been so far. You don't want to regress, and I think that's why you see the future like that. You don't really see it very clearly, but you have a vague feeling that you're just going to regress back to the old habits of what never really helped you in the first place. So I think really meditate, figure out what you want, be clear on it too, because that will bring it to fruition faster, okay? If you know exactly what you want, okay? All right, Cancer. I hope this helped. Man, this is deep. But I hope you guys get some happiness, and I hope this relationship that you guys are in is, I hope honestly, I hope whatever you guys decide to do is something that you guys truly want to do, okay? Sorry I wasn't looking at the camera so much. I'm super concentrated. But anyway, love y'all. I'll talk to y'all soon. See you guys in the middle of November. Bye, y'all.